Hello and welcome. I do believe we are live streaming. It's the first time I've done this, so should be interesting. So today, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Sorry I haven't got a camera on. It's been playing up with my yoke for some reason. It's throwing it off, so I've left it off. Today I want to have another look at lossless scaling. Lossless scaling, I was having issues with. I couldn't move the mouse cursor across from one screen to another without messing it about. So it just by a bit of experiment I've come across how to do it, and I'll go through that when we go into the sim itself. So we've got the lossless scaling sorted out, so that's now good. Also now can use beyond ATC because I've worked out how to use lossless scaling. That's $5.99 I think from Steam. If you're struggling for FPS, even with frame generator, lossless scaling does seem to sort it out. And we'll go through some of the settings and stuff in a few minutes. I've also now added in for the Fenix A320 cabin announcements, which makes a little bit of a difference. So we'll hear that in the background when we start the setup. What else have I done? Oh yeah, I had to do the GSX because I wondered why. I thought it was a problem. I wondered why I weren't getting passengers in other liveries, and I didn't realise you had to untick passengers and then go back in and tick passengers again to get it to work once you put liveries in. So done that, and it seems to be working. I was trying out different things yesterday. I'm hoping that we have a good run today. I'm going to move over. I'm starting from scratch. I've only just really turned the PC on, so it's all wing and a prayer. Being live, it tends to go wrong, so we'll try it. So I'm going to move over, and as you can see, I'm here in, and I'm going to what I'm going to set up. I'm going to do my what I call my normal test flight. I'm actually going to do from Luton to Edinburgh. So if we go to Simbrief, I'll use the real time as well. And you can see it takes a little bit of time setting up. So while this is doing this, I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to start with VRAS. It cuts in, yeah, that's it. So you might hear VRAS go off in a second. What else do I need? Beyond ATC, I can put the first bit in. So let's go new flight. See something flip up on that. We can go to brief, move that across, out the way. Everything's going good. Okay, so we're going to do flight. And I have to remember, it's now British Airways. We'll go flight 4, Oscar Delta, I think. And we'll depart from Luton and we'll head to, see I've done this a few times, we'll head to up to Edinburgh. It's only an hour flight, so it makes it easier. I was going to do to Zagreb. I've got to do that flight at some point. But I thought I'll take a route that's easiest and is not too long. Nobody wants to sit through a 3-hour flight. So I thought I'd do the hour flight. So then we're going to pick the A320. Should be there. Always lose it. And we're actually in the IAE SL, which again is new because I've been using the CFM, so I'm using the other plane, which is slightly different. People that runway right, so depart right. We'll see if that comes out true. Sometimes beyond ATC and Simbrief don't, they disagree. I'll do that. And now when you import the route, you just don't want to touch nothing, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. So let's see what happens. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's not. Things seem to be moving around in the background, which is a good sign. Okay, it's taking it. Sorry about that, I'm drinking a coffee as well. Have a bit of a barbecue going on this afternoon, so I'm trying to get this done and just see how it goes. Right, so then once you got that, you can close out of that. Now don't make the mistake I do and hit fly, because you'll end up on the runway, and if you're doing it proper, like I like to do it, is let's just go 43, gate 43. If you do it proper like I like to do it, be sat at a gate. Now GSX, fingers crossed, is going to work. As you can see, it's all set up here for everything that you want, so let's put it into the system. Go fly, and you should see, because I'm using the Phoenix plane, you should see Phoenix kick up in a second, so it fires everything up for the FB. Takes a little while, and this is just to go through the whole system, like how you get to where you want to get to, and okay, so that's all in, that's coming in nicely, all in, nice. So that's now Phoenix set, and it'll automatically do it. Sometimes your wheels appear not to be down when you first get to see the first bit, but that's just a bug. Sometimes they're down, sometimes they're not. There are bugs, I've definitely noticed in Phoenix, there are bugs. Not looking a great day in Luton. There are bugs there. Sometimes even like the autopilot doesn't work. Oh, feet are down. So instead of the easy jet I used last time, we're using British Airways, and it looks rather a nice livery. So I thought we'd try this out today and see how we go. I'm not running lossless scaling at the moment, but what I am going to do, I'm going to run this one. That should pop up. There we go. Just so you see, this is just with frame generation. You can see like mine, you're running at 32 FPS, which isn't great. Not when you're starting to load up GSX and stuff. So I'm going to leave that for a little while, and then we'll move over to lossless, and you'll see the difference. Hopefully you're going to see lossless in the corner. So let's get in the plane. Let's get the plane sorted out first. Oh, there we go. Shot up there now. 62. That's all right. We'll just leave that for a minute then. It will drop like a stone at some point. So let's get the batteries on and get the GPU running. And let's just take all these lights out. I mean, most people have a set way of setting things up. Okay. Turn that on, get that around. That's all sorted. And you can see my position has just moved 70. That's not bad actually. I might just run it for a little while. There you go. It's just re-updating itself. When you see it disappear in the corner there, it's just re-updating itself. It also does it for my streaming. Runway it's giving me one for the stream. Okay. Okay. So next thing to do, get those on early because they take a while to start up, and the whole process is quite long. It's the more realistic you want it, the more goes on. Get those on. Just don't put the beacon on. Everything's firing up down here. Go down here, shift it up. Let's just check. Yeah, that's working. Thank God for that. Some more lights on down here. TA over. That over to there, I do believe. That one to there. That one turned on. That one turned on. Now, if you're using cabin announcements, really vital you turn these two on and turn them to full, so that you hear your cabin announcements. You can flip these around. Now the next thing to check while everything is doing what it's doing is I always go have a look, see what GSX is doing, and it's loaded in, so we can now operate the stairs. Always a good one. And that always happens with GSX. You're always going to get that happen. It is a part of GSX, I'm afraid. There we go. So our flight is what we've just imported. Is now been imported to here. And we've got 27 minutes to take off. We'll probably overrun that anyway. So just import it. So it's now in. Then you go to ground services. We can get those all open, ready. And that should be settling up nicely. Cargo doors have just opened, ready for that. That's all ready. And I always pick the wrong damn image because I know how to get out of that though. So this is a third party airport. What we can also do, this is where, now when I turn on ATC, which we're just about to do, you're going to see a massive drop, and it's already happening up there now. 23, 24.
ATC connected.
Now it's back to 40. It's because it's adding in, as you'll see over here, it'll start adding in planes and everything else. See if it adds any around us. It's initialising traffic. Sometimes it works first time, sometimes it doesn't. It says it's completed. Luckily nothing's around us, so that's alright. Things may populate as we go on. I just want to check that it is working properly. Yep. So yeah, it is as it is. Oh, there you go. Here comes the planes. I do have the Wizz Air delivery as well. I don't have the Wizz Air cabin announcements yet. That'll be my next thing to go off and find. As you can see, we're in with all the Wizz Air and the EasyJets. Because normally British Airways takes off from Stansted or I think Heathrow. I don't normally take off from Luton, but I thought, well, I want to try this livery out, make sure everything's working as it should do. So everything there is set, and you can see that is really, FPS is really drained. So when you've got it like this and it's really bad, if I turn that off now, that should go off. Now I think I can get to lossless scaling. I'll drag that across, which is a frame generation. So I've got one set up, so you can set them up so you've got them all. Always be in administrator mode, really important, and get it set. I don't know if I can, let's just maximize that. Right, so in frame generation I'm using 3. You can change that to whatever type you want. I think there's 1. You have it off, you can have it. My mode is always fixed, and this is the best way I've found to use it. Multiplier, so it's doubling the frame rate, so you can go to 3, 4, 10, 50. The higher you go, the more artifact you get, the more screen tearing you get. So I'm trying it at its lowest setting, just so I keep some quality. And it tells you in here, as you click through, it tells you all about what each bit is. If you're recording, you need to put it onto double GC, because this is the bit where it went wrong. When I had it on the other one, I was having trouble with frame rates turning themselves around, being the wrong way around. And then down in the cursor, make sure these 3 are off and just leave that one on. And then you can, as you can see, I can flip from screen to screen because I always have 2 screens running. So that's that. Also, that is the main part. And the only other one you really got to watch out is for multi-display mode. Make sure that is turned on. I've got a G-Sync support on my monitor, so I leave that on. If you haven't got G-Sync, turn it off, as it'll cause you problems. Draw FPS, I always leave it on. And these are all auto. Aspect ratio, you can do full screen, but that seems to have a weird effect, so I've left it on aspect ratio, and I'm happy with it. So once you've done all that, and you've got it like, because normally it's this size you get, if you hit the scale button, and then click on the display you want it to do, what you should see in the corner is figures coming up here. So that's what it says my frame rates are, and this is what it's giving you now. As you can see, they're moving around quite a bit. That's once we get our looting, that shoots up a little bit. So that's basically about that. So what we want to do now is get the plane set up ready for flight, and you'll see that this cuts in very nicely. We may have passengers coming out the doors rather than a truck coming to us. I'm really not sure yet. At Luton you get the benefit of that. So I put that in. What you want to do, I've made a mistake. I've kept going to the FMGC and then setting up from there. That was a major mistake. What you need to do is go to ATSU first and then go to AOC menu, flight initialization, and then ask for it, initialize the data. And then that should fill those orange boxes in with flight number, all the details here, departure, destination, your alternative one when you get there, an estimated time of basically it's 53 minutes once you start flying. And then you should get your date on here as well, so you know what today's date is. It's the 25th of the 5th. I don't know, I go to ini and then request initializer. This will start to fill this up. Okay, so you've got your first bit. Then what we're going to use is, if I come out of there a minute, I'm going to flip that onto there for a minute. We're going to need that in a minute. Is flight number. So we've just seen the flight number, which is BAW 4. Had to figure that one out. 4 Oscar Delta. Right, so that's now got that. Now the cost index you'll find on your sim brief, and it's normally the top one there. The cruise system is 11. And then we want cruise altitude and all that, which is in your sim brief. So if I go on there, new flight plan, and we're going to be travelling at 34,000 feet, cruising at, just say 34000, and the temperature, which you'll get from your takeoff performance. You can do it for the FB or you can do it on here, which is 15 degrees at the moment. Make sure you get that right. And then enter that in. While you're here, get your wind. You can now add all your wind in. That will drag it from your EFB and put that in. So that's up to that stage. Then you want to go, oh actually, just go back there. Mass balance. Send that all to your MCDU. That said success, so we know that's now been put across. Then go to departure. You can sync this if it does it. Sync that. I think that's done on both. And then go calculate, and then it will give you your takeoff speeds and all other information you need. Then send that to your MCDU. And we come out of there, we can go back into there for a minute, because we're going to need this screen. As you can see up here, you've got how many passengers you've got coming on board. You can see them getting on, and you can resend your load sheet and everything like that. This is all your fuel we got. That's planned, and that's what's in the tanks at present. So we'll get filled up, and that will come more obvious in it. Get those turned on as well. Let's get those. I always flip over also to fuel on there for now. You can see up in the corner there, it's now got 100 frame rates, which is a lot better than what I was getting. But if I come off to the other one, that will be lower. Right, okay, so we can now go to back to ini, click through, and this is all your details. This is your zero fuel weights, which was added in from the EFB, so that's all done. If you don't do it, you have to add this in. Wind data uplink, go away, go away, go away, done, done, done. All that's done. So that now, yeah, that is reading. The ideas are working. You can see that everything there is fine, and then it should bring you back to this page. Then you want to go to, I normally go flight plan next, start the setup by departure. Right, what you can do, if you're using Beyond ATC and you want to be a bit lazy, I'll just click the wrong thing on. Right, just go request your iFile.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta, looking to pick up our clearance to Edinburgh.
Speedbird Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Luton delivery. Expect runway 25 only 2 Bravo departure. Squawk 2000.
Oh, we're already set, so we're good.
Only 2 Bravo departure. Squawk
so we can go
2000.
runway 25
for Oscar Delta.
And it was the only 2B.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Read back correct.
Input that.
Contact
And you'll see
ground
this
121.755 when ready for push or start.
Ground 121.755 when ready for pushback or engine start. Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
Yeah. And then we want to go to the EGPH and arrival, which normally is runway 24, and that'll be MP, always is MP. But I am double checking just in case there's any bad weather or anything, and then add that in. When you've done this route several times, you shouldn't have any discos in there at all. Just nip to plan. You can look at your screen and look at that, and then just make sure your flight plan is complete. Okay, yeah. When we get to that point there, if I go back one, when you get to this point here, it will ask us to fly across rather than doing this loop. It will ask us to go, I think it's 0220 or 025, and then it then lines us up for our approach. So that's basically all the FMC explained in this one, and you can flip that back to there so we can see where we're going. So we got to do, so everything there is done. That's done. That's done. I'm still rudder steering, so the steering out of it may be a little bit much to be desired, as I'm still getting used to using rudder. I used to have it so the yoke, I could steer with my yoke, but I've lost that and I can't figure out how to get it back. After the yoke decided to have some kind of party. Okay. And while I was thinking about it, I thought, well, let's try it. Make sure it does work. Nothing worse than going down there and you just don't turn. Right, okay, so that's our route plans. So then we want to go to performance, and as you can see, what we typed in from earlier moved across, it's already in there. And then we want to go next phase, don't go with the buttons, go next phase. CI is already in there. We want to go 250 in there, that's for the climb speed, and it's always 250. I'm going to move to the next phase, and then I'm going to say 260 for our cruise speed, although I will let the EFB manage that. Next phase, everything's looking good there. Next phase. Okay, so your QNH is here. If you press B, which is the magic button, it will give you a present QNH. This saves you having to look for it. Temperature was 15, I believe. We'll put that in there. The rest of it we can leave alone. It's a full sort of basically takeoff, so we're going to be full config. Everything there looks pretty good. So that is basically everything set up. There is something else in here, I thought. Looks like we're all done. Nice. So while we're doing that, we'll get the caterers to do their bit.
Catering vehicles are on their way.
And while they're doing that, we can have a little wander around, I suppose. Let's have a look. Let's get these on first. I always put these on so I don't forget. You obviously got 2 FBs. Now I figured out how to open this window, which is handy. And you can just then draw that back. Now I've thought, oh, I can't get this back, but there's a little clip here. You hit that clip, and then you can draw it back forward as you want. Just make sure you hit that clip again, and just draw it forward. And then the last bit is to clip that in place. So the window does open, which is quite nice. Other things I found in here that I didn't know had was compass. And down here, they have a nice little tray. Now, I'm toying with the idea of getting the A390 and A321, which are, one is a little bit smaller, the other one is rather bigger. I'm thinking about it. I wanted to get the Fenix because the Fenix, I don't fly anything else but the Fenix. I've gone back into the Headwind one and it just didn't look good enough. It's the only problem you have when you move to the Fenix, is nothing else compares to it. Right, I'm going to set that to 6 as constraint. Ooh, let's go to 7 and put our constraints on. And just flip these lights on. I was going to have a nose around, but I love the way that it is integrated with GSX. That is a massive thing. And I do love the fact I've now got passengers on my plane. And it's probably why I fly this more than anything else. PNDG I bought through the marketplace. I made the mistake of buying them all through the marketplace, so I don't get passengers. Big shame. You can open the door, so see inside the British Airways.
Advised information Victor now current. QNH1008.
Okay, that's fine. So let's have a look outside. Looking a bit of a murky day. Gate Gourmet. As you can see, there's a little bit of artifacting, which you get from lossless scaling, but I'm happy to have that purely because of what I gain. There, stay there. Yeah, just a little bit of artifacting as it goes in the door. But I can live with it. I've been doing all this checking, and I even checked to see if my mic is actually turned on. Yeah, it is. I thought I'd give it a go, live streaming, see what happens. Nothing to lose. The plane itself looks absolutely fantastic. It looks like we've got a Wizz Air next door, big un. As you can see, even with GSX running, I can now move around quite smoothly through lossless scaling. What we also do, we can also call in water and lavatory cleaning. So, and you can set it up so it will come afterwards. So it will say that will come after the catering's finished. We're looking pretty good at the moment. We're going to probably see our passengers come out one of these doors. They'll walk along here, I guess. We won't know until we take off or till we call.
Easy 81 Charlie Victor, gate 21 right taxi via Bravo Alpha.
Well, I'm glad to have Beyond ATC back. I had been using.
Easy 81 Charlie Victor.
That's dropped off. That's because I've moved to another screen. It did drop off. Good. Completely lost my track of thought there because that's just throwing me off. Yeah, I had been using ATC. That's right. I'd been using ATC, the internal ATC. It's all right. It gets you to A and B, but I don't like it. So I decided I wanted Beyond ATC back with all the FSTL traffic. And the only way I could do that was using lossless scaling. At that point, I was struggling with lossless scaling. Thinking, it keeps crashing the game. I don't know what I'm doing. And then I just started to play around with a few things. A few settings, and I thought, let's try this, let's try that, and then suddenly it all started to fall into place nicely. So as long as you go back and have a look at those settings I've got, it should be enough if you're using dual screen. Everybody's system is slightly different, but because things like OBS and stuff like that uses DGX the same as the system does, it then what it's doing is looking at OBS rather than looking at your screen that you've asked it to look at. So if you put it onto WGC, it will look at both screens and sort out your bits and bobs. So I think that should now, yeah, there you go, the water guy's there. I want to go into this mode, that showcase mode, minimize that for a minute. That means we can try out it, see how she does. Now he's got a visor on. I guess, yeah, you want to get that splashed in your eyes. And you can also have a good look around the plane as well. You can see that got all the bits and bobs, got a nice little tie there. The artwork of this is absolutely fantastic. They've done a fantastic job on this plane. We've got all your rivets and everything is there. Lovely plane. On world. There are pilots in there. So yeah, normally they would come out of this door here, so we want to see if they do come out. And that'll happen when we start to refuel. So I want to get the lavatory done, I want to get the water done, and then so we can actually, while we're here, call for water, and then that will then they will come after he's finished, and then we can start to board passengers and hopefully get to take off. But this is like going through the whole airport thing. This is like taking the game to another level, which is quite
water
nice.
service has been requested.
That didn't look too bad artifact-wise. That's what I mean. If I put it onto 3 times artifact, 3 times generation, I get a little bit artifacting going on. Don't get any screen tearing anymore, which is good. When I was using the fake frame thing before I had the 5070 GPU, it was pretty much tearing all the time. I couldn't do anything about it. Graphics vastly improved with the 5070. Has really improved the graphics to an immense quality. Even with I've got Doom. I got Doom down as free. Doom is really good when you're using the 5070. It's absolutely designed for it. ETS is fantastic with it. Even the Train Sim World, it's made a massive improvement on that. It's given the trees and that a little bit more life. So yeah, they are good. I'm gonna try and download and put back the bus. I uninstalled it because I just was having so much trouble with it. I am gonna install that when I've got more time. I'm gonna reinstall it because it takes quite a while to install the bus for some strange reason, and then try it and see if there's any improvement. I've also noticed that all my cores weren't opened, they were all locked off. So I was only ever using 2 cores, so I've now got all 12 cores running, and that's what, 24 threads. Perfect. Although msfs doesn't use all the cores. But it does seem to be taking a bit of pressure off the PC and not making it work as hard as it was. And I've noticed my fans don't cut on so much. And the system is, yeah, that is, it's really quiet. I've also got immersion for the A320, so you see droplets, rain droplets and everything like that. But once this guy's finished, we can then go back into the plane. Close that off for a minute. I'm hoping everything goes right, being as this is live, where things do go wrong. And once he's done his water bit, we can then go load aircraft. And when you hit load aircraft, it's going to give you some options. So we'll do the GSX boarding and refueling. As soon as the boarding starts, you're going to hear the announcements going off. I'm going to.
Truck is on its way.
And now it takes over as well. So I'm pretty much
Please don't
now
load
automated.
aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
The fuel truck will arrive, and he'll place himself around here somewhere. We're not going to be able to see him if I don't do that. Yes. Okay. So we'll see it from this angle, and then before he's finished, what I will do is we'll go into the cabin and hear the announcements and see the guys coming on board, and you'll see all your passengers. That's a nice feeling. It just adds a bit more to it if you've got passengers. But this is a remake of lossless scaling because I didn't have this opportunity last time. Now the fuel truck's in position. This will all open up.
Until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
And our man here is going to fill our plane up with fuel to the correct planned fuel. So before, what we were doing, I was just filling the whole plane up, having it to full, but now I'm actually trusting SimBrief, trusting everything I've got, my calculations and that we get all the right stuff in there. So now that should now start to fill. Here we go. So he's busily filling us up. There's me trying to do that with my mouse. But it just looks really good at the moment. I'm really enjoying it. I've had a few issues along the way, but seem to have got them all sorted now, I think. Till the next issues. Another thing I haven't done, which I'm going to have to do off screen, is I haven't set up the graph. Set it up. Zoom in on the airport. Which way I've got to come out? It's to the right. Always important to me. Well, tell me it's probably west, east, which then comes with a different set of instructions when you do pushback. What you want to get. So that's what is. You can also see who's on vaccine, who's on IVO. Add that in. If I drop right out, I should see how many players are flying around. I'll just minimise that and bring it onto my screen. I keep moving the wrong bit. You'll get to see. These are the amount of players that are playing at the moment. You know, this is how you keep track of where you are, who's on what. You can even click onto there and I'll tell you what each plane's doing. Is descending in, who the player is, whether they're doing a cruising. So, and these are all players that are online on 2020. As you can see, there's still a lot because 2024. Oh, here we go. So I need to get back into cockpit.
Hi crew, welcome on board this British Airways flight. To help us depart as soon as possible, please place your larger hand baggage securely into the overhead lockers. Smaller bags, including those tagged with the yellow label, must be placed under the seat in front of you. If you're sitting in a front row seat or in an emergency exit row, the floor area must be completely clear for takeoff. Once your hand baggage is safely stowed, please make yourself comfortable and keep the aisle clear for all remaining customers to board. As a reminder, smoking, including e-cigarettes, vaping, and the use of other smoking devices is not permitted at any time whilst on board. This includes the toilets, which are fitted with smoke detectors. Once again, thank you, and a very warm welcome on board.
We will get that announcement again, so I haven't added in music yet, so that'll be my next thing to do, just get the proper British Airways music.
This way, please.
But I was going to check to see if yeah, so they're coming through out of the building.
Hello?
And you've got your man over here reading his little card, making sure everybody's coming on, and then you should start to see them. Fingers crossed.
This way, please.
Let's move across a little bit. Lagged up a little bit. Asking it to do too much. And you should start to see these guys sitting down.
Boarding pass.
There we go. They're starting to populate the plane.
Welcome on board. Welcome on board. Hello.
So we've fueled up, ready to go. We just now got to get our passengers on board.
May I see your boarding pass? Welcome on board.
And the girls are wearing the correct uniforms. They're wearing the British Airways uniform. You Virgin, you get the Virgin uniform. EasyJet, you get the EasyJet uniform. So on and so on. I do have Wizz Air. I do have Jet2, which I do need to get boarding music for that.
This way, please.
Boarding sounds.
Hello. May I see your boarding pass? Hello. May I see your boarding pass?
Everybody's climbing on board. Everybody's taking their seats nicely.
This way.
You do get with GSX if you like close the door, because these will all disappear if you close the door to save you on FPS. But you'll see you get a little bit of deforming of the heads, but that's normal.
Hello.
And you can walk through there and see everybody if you wanted to. Say hello, I guess. Depends what kind of captain you are.
Boarding pass, please. Good morning. Hello. Welcome
So we
on board.
should get that announcement again very shortly. We sort of missed the first part of it, but I didn't miss much.
Hello.
Hopefully ATC stays quiet.
Boarding pass, please. Good morning. Hello. Welcome on board. Hello.
When you get to roughly around about, I don't know, about halfway full of passengers, I then go and turn my GPU on so it's ready for pushback.
Welcome on board. May I see your boarding pass?
Now this does draw a lot of FPS just doing this, so but it's holding up there nicely at 63.
May I see your boarding pass?
If it was down in the 40s, 30s, I would be 3 times in.
This way, please. Good morning. Hello.
There we go.
Very good morning to you all. My name is Cameron, and on behalf of the entire crew, welcome on board this British Airways flight. To help us depart as soon as possible, please place your larger hand baggage securely into the overhead lockers.
Boarding pass, please.
Smaller bags, including those tagged with the yellow label, must be placed under the seat in front of you. If you're sitting in a front row seat or in an emergency exit row, the floor area must be completely clear for takeoff. Once your hand baggage is safely stowed, please make yourself comfortable and keep the aisle clear for all remaining customers to board. As a reminder, smoking, including e-cigarettes, vaping,
This way,
and the use of
please.
other smoking devices is not permitted at any time whilst on board.
This way.
This includes the toilets, which are fitted with smoke detectors.
Hello.
Once again, thank you, and a very warm welcome on board.
Good morning.
And we'll probably get one, he'll do it again I think once more at the end. And then he'll give the okay for that we're completely boarded once we've got everybody on board. And then we'll start to push back, and at that stage they'll start doing the safety.
Hello. Welcome on board.
You do get a bit of that with SLC, but I haven't used SLC while I've had Phoenix because I don't think it works very well with it. Not tried it. I'm guessing it'll mess it about.
This way, please. Boarding pass, please.
But this is an easier way to do it rather than have another program open. You can just
Hello.
put them on board. You can see everybody's sitting nicely.
Welcome on board.
I've been waiting for passengers to be sat in here for a long time. And I was quite disappointed when it said they couldn't do it through the marketplace versions because of encryption.
Boarding pass.
But obviously Phoenix has allowed them to do it. I do believe the A319 has passengers as well, but I'm just trying to do a little bit of research before I go buying other planes. I wanted to make sure.
Welcome on board. Hello. This way, please.
I'm hoping the Phoenix is loaded in correctly and everything goes well.
Good morning. Welcome on board.
And like I said, but beyond ATC, I don't fly without it basically. And in ATC, there's a new bit in there where you can actually ask questions. And I think I asked, was the pizzas in Luton very good when I was flying back? And they give you some kind of answer, even if it's a stupid one.
Good morning.
And sometimes they will say, are you being silly? We're looking like we're nearly getting there. Comes the old fella. Take your seat, Grandpa.
May I see
Oh,
your
two of
boarding
them.
pass? Welcome on board.
And down in your EFB, this is happening as well. As you can see, it's all filling up nicely. It's giving you the count, and you'll see these will fill up as well.
Good morning.
I wanted to try out lossless scanning and make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do, and it's doing it great at the moment. Now, normal freezes, what we call in-game freezes, it doesn't deal with because that's within the game.
Good morning.
So there's not much you can do about that, but it just gives me enough that I can get in and out of third-party airports. And Phoenix is a big FPS killer in itself because it's so well designed, so well modelled, that it's just taken up a lot of FPS. So this is where lossless scaling comes into its own. It's probably one of the best £5 I've ever spent in my life. I use lossless scaling on ETS as well, and it's taken out. There we go. It's taken out a lot of stuff.
Cabin crew, boarding complete.
There we go, cabin crew, boarding complete. Once you're happy with that, close the door, and you'll see them. They've just disappeared. That's to up, and the FPS just jumped straight up. And so now you've got all that on. What we can do is we'll ask for pushback.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta, gate 43, request pushback.
And all this will disappear.
Delta, Luton ground. Pushback approved. Face east.
So dismiss that.
Pushback
Ground
and engine
services.
start approved.
What should
Face
happen
east.
is
Speedbird for Oscar
you
Delta.
can see everything's closed up. We can then just hit our. If we hit the beacon now, this is why I said don't do it beforehand. And GSX will now automatically cut in. He says, yep. And we're all set to go. As you can see, the stairs are starting to disappear. Our man's coming to push us back, and our wing walkers are heading out.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
I'm glad. APU's on. We're all set for that when it happens. Final glance over, yeah, everything's looking good. So far, all these are managed. That one is managed. The climb out is managed.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
All our information is there. Now we can move that over to engines.
Locking gear.
We've got to face east, which is going to be our options. I'll choose option V. SA East, option V, if I remember. And you can see our FPS has really climbed up now because we're along. So it's that one there.
Release parking brakes, please. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Start the engines, and now that should
Cabin crew
arm the
doors to
doors.
automatic and cross-check, please.
So everything off of there now should be all locked up and close. We can now come out of there. We can go into our Navigraph, and we can just check where we are.
Welcome on board, everyone.
Okay.
All customers have now boarded, and we're about to brief you on the safety procedures of this Airbus A320. We ask that you remove your personal headphones until the end of the briefing. Portable electronic devices may be used during the flight as long as they are in flight safe mode. You may use handheld devices such as mobile phones, tablets and e-readers during takeoff and landing. You may also use personal headphones at these times. Larger items including laptops must be switched off now and stowed away safely. As a reminder, smoking is not permitted at any time whilst on board. Now demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. Your attention is essential as these may differ from any aircraft you've flown on before. Please study the safety card in your seat area as is included.
Starting up the second engine, that should fire up.
Specific to this aircraft type, such as brace position and the location and
And he's going to draw us forward.
In the event of an emergency, low-level lighting will guide you to an exit. All exits are clearly marked and are being pointed out to you now. Please take a moment to locate your nearest exit, bearing in mind this may be behind you. Opening the doors automatically inflates the evacuation slides. High-heeled shoes must be taken off as they may tear the slide. Please ensure that your seatbelt is fastened. It must be worn whenever the seatbelt signs are on, and it is fastened and adjusted like this, and opened like this.
Okay, so that's both engines now running and both available. We can now
if the cabin air supply fails, oxygen
switch those all off.
Oxygen masks like this will appear automatically. If you're wearing a face mask, this should be removed.
It probably takes up to this line, I would imagine.
Stay in your seat and pull the oxygen mask towards you. Place the oxygen mask over your mouth and nose and breathe normally, adjusting the band to secure it. Please note that the bag may not inflate. You may need to pull on a coloured streamer to release your mask. Make sure your own mask is fitted before helping anyone else.
Please set parking brakes.
Your life jacket is underneath or beside your seat. If required, remove the jacket from its container and pull it over your head. Pass the tapes around your waist and tie them securely in a double bow at the side. To inflate, pull the red toggle as shown. The air can be topped up by using this mouthpiece. There is a whistle and a light for attracting attention. Do not inflate your life jackets until you are outside the aircraft.
Bit rough.
Any personal devices with flight safe mode should have this feature enabled now. Handheld devices must be held securely or placed into a pocket. Larger devices, including laptops, must be switched off and stowed in your luggage.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Take care your device does not get lost within your seat.
Left is clear, right is clear.
And let one of your cabin crew know.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta, ready to taxi to the active.
When not being used in flight. Please ensure your hand baggage does not block the aisles or
Speedbird
exits.
for Oscar Delta, runway 25 taxi via Foxtrot, Alpha.
Do place items into the locker carefully as they may
Runway
fall out and
25
into
taxi
someone.
via Foxtrot, Alpha.
In the event of an
Speedbird for
evacuation,
Oscar
you
Delta.
must move quickly to the closest usable exit, taking nothing with you. Please now ensure Ensure that your seat is in the upright and takeoff position with the armrest down and your tray table is folded away. Window blinds must now be in the open position in preparation for takeoff. Smoking, including e-cigarettes, vaping and the use of other smoking devices is not permitted at any time whilst on board. This includes the toilet switch-off fitted with smoke detectors. If you have any questions, please ask a member of your cabin crew. Thank you very much for your attention.
There you go, rudders are working. Be really ginger with these, isn't it? Hill. To accelerate, give a little bit. No, no rush. I mean, you come out at whatever speed you're happy with. Yeah. Cabin crew all set, making their way to the seats. The rudder control is a bit difficult in this one. Do need though, it's fine. You never get me left and rights right because when you come down here you have to make sure you're going the right way, so make sure the speed don't get away from you. I'll just sort of gingerly apply to tap the brakes now and again just so you don't go too fast. When we're going on the straight it's not too
All
bad.
aircraft be advised information whiskey now current. QNH1008.
008 now. Going uphill, so we're going to struggle up here. Give it a little bit. And just keep tapping the brake if the speed's getting away from you, just tap it. Should be getting a call in a second.
Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta. Contact Luton Tower 132.555.
Slow right.
Over to tower 132.555. Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta.
This is where you need about 3 hands at the minute.
Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta. Holding short. Runway 25.
Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta, backtrack runway 25. Call when ready for departure.
Let us right out then.
Backtrack runway 25. Call
I've
when ready.
noticed
Speedbird 4
sometimes
Oscar
there's always
Delta.
been a plane stuck up there and you can't wait for it to go. So.
Approaching 2-5. On runway 07. 1,100 feet remaining.
Too sharp. Back there. Now hopefully everything's going to work fine when we take off. Sometimes we've had issues. Slow. I'll do a complete turnaround. Give it full.
On runway 07.
Should slow it down.
100 feet remaining. Approaching 25. On runway 25.
You're happy that you're straight-ish. Bring it to a stop. And keeping your finger on the brake. You can request departure.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta, ready for departure, runway 25.
Good check.
Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta, Luton Tower. Wind 280 at 19, runway 25, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 25, cleared for takeoff. Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
All goes well, we should get off of here very easily. Still using a rudder, by the way. It should lift. Up we go. Once we're happy with that, we can hit that.
Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta, contact London Control 118.825.
Contact London Control 118.825. Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
And if all is good, we should be flying.
London Control, Speedbird for Oscar Delta, 1,900 feet.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta, London Control, good day, identified, climb to flight level 170.
Climb to flight level 170. Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
All looking good so far. And then we can just open this out a little bit. Let that manage it. And the last thing now, I can now go on to my other screen without too much hassle. Right. Just move it around to where I want it. And we're safely up in the air and we're flying. We're heading up to 6,000 feet, which we'll hold at until we get up to past the constraints.
Once again, a very good morning to you all. My name is Cameron Dix, the in-flight manager, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all on board with us today. I'd just like to introduce the rest of the crew. Working alongside me in Club Europe, we have Moira, and David and Alexis will be working in Euro Traveller. So I'd like to add a special welcome to our executive club members and frequent flyers from our One World Alliance partners. May I remind you to keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you're seated. It must remain securely fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is on. When when opening overhead lockers, please do take care, as items may have moved and could fall out and cause injury. As a reminder, smoking, including e-cigarettes, vaping and the use of other smoking devices, is not permitted at any time whilst on board. This includes the toilets, which are fitted with smoke detectors. Our BA Wi-Fi is available on today's flight. To connect to the network, visit shop.ba.com to discover the offers available. To keep up to date with the latest travel trends, to find an original guide to your destination, or tips on how to make the most of your time in the sky, read the digital version of High Life magazine for free via the .air Wi-Fi login screen on your personal electronic device. All phones should be placed to silent to avoid disturbing other customers. Video and phone calls are also not permitted at any time during the flight. We're about to start the onboard service. If you have a food allergy or would like information on specific allergens on today's flight, please contact any member of the crew. If you're seated in our Club Europe cabin, we'll be offering you a complimentary choice of meal and drinks from the bar. If you're a traveller, we'll be offering you a complimentary bottle of water and a snack. They'll be followed by our High Life Cafe service. If you'd like to purchase from a selection of High Life Cafe items on today's flight, please connect to the BA Wi-Fi and visit shop.ba.com to discover the items available or refer to the menu card in your seat pocket. For now, we invite you to make yourself at home and enjoy our hospitality here at British Airways. If there's anything that my team or I can do to make your journey more comfortable, then please just let us know. Thank you very much. Enjoy your flight.
17,000 feet is what we're going to hit in a very few seconds. Well, I'm going to say seconds, minutes. Have a quick look outside. There she is, beautiful plane. Contrails are working. Now we might not get the contrails I was expecting, but we'll just see. As that's been playing up, the immersion. But we'll take another look once we get up to cruise altitude, see what's happening outside. Once we hit Olney, I think 9 miles, then we can start cruising up to 17,000. And if you look, you can see with frame rates would be 40, 41, 42, but we're actually now pushing around about the 80, which is a lot better. And we're in for a nice soft flight today by the looks of it. First real time I've used this plane, I think, for this journey. We're getting ready then to manage this climb. Nearly there, so we can now start to make our climb. He says. I want to see if it climbs automatically then. Now I've hit that. Climb point, come on now. There we go, she's climbing. Just over 10,000 feet we'll turn off our lights, which will reduce the drag and also allow the customers or passengers, whichever you want to call them, to move around. So 34,000 feet is our ceiling of climb, so we should get a call soon. Okay, now we can turn those off. Turn off the passenger sign, seatbelt sign. And we're done until we come into landing, really, so it's just sit back, enjoy the flight. One more change to make to 34,000 when we get the call. And we are going to be closing in on that 17,000 shortly, I think. 6,000 off, so we should get a call very shortly. It's taken me quite a while to get used to flying the A320. Still have things go wrong and not sure how to deal with them, but on the whole it's a very decent plane. And I was just whacked down to the 103 FPS.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Contact London Control 118 decimal for 75.
Center on 118.475. Speedbird for Oscar Delta. London Control. Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Out of flight level 148 for flight level 170 direct to Cooper.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta, London Control. Good day. Identified. Climb to flight level 340.
The 340.
Climb to flight level 340. Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
And away we go. So that's all it now. We're all just now flying, heading up to a cruising altitude, and nothing to worry about until we start hitting Scotland. There are a lot of planes in the air. So it's just now really sit back, enjoy. A few experiments I'm trying. I've just logged in into my other monitor just to see what happens up here. As you can see, it's 23 and 46. I click back into the main primary monitor. It then jumps up, ramps up. So it gives you that little bit of freedom to move around each monitor, and at least you can scoot across to each monitor. And that's what I needed, and I was desperate to get this working. I want to get right up to high speed, and I'll have a look, see if the contrails come on. If not, I'll just disable them and just put the normal ones on. Okay, so I'm going to go quiet and let this fly, just enjoy the scenery for a little while, and I'll be back very shortly.
Control. Expect Redfee 1 Alpha. Runway 18 right.
Expect Redfee 1 Alpha. Runway 18 right. Easy 32 Lima Zulu.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Contact London Control 118.775.
Contact London Control 118.775. Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We've reached our cruising altitude of 32,000 feet and we're looking at a smooth ride route. Wrong button.
Bravo. It's almost like we're right there in the plane with you.
Let's keep this one between us.
You got it. Just you.
It's great they've thrown those in. That's another plane that's just given the wrong information.
London Control. Speedbird
Quite
for
good.
Oscar Delta. Through
It's
flight
quite new
level
and beyond
241
ATC.
For flight level 340 direct Trent.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta. London Control. Radar contact.
London
Very
Control.
funny.
Speedbird 1480. Flight level 360.
Speedbird 1480. London Control. Identified. Chamex 82 Lima Golf. Contact London Control 118.475. Have a good day.
Center on 118.475. Chamex 82 Lima Golf. Have a good day. London Control. Easy for 67 Lima. Good day. Flight level 074.
Easy 467 Lima. London Control. Radar contact.
Okay, so we're just coming up to Manchester, I do believe.
London Control, France Soleil 7904, good day, flight level 340.
France Soleil 7904, London Control, radar contact.
We got Manchester coming up.
Speedbird 18 Alpha, contact Scottish Control 119.875.
I'm close to Bakewell, and this area I know really well, the Peak District. Always taking the dogs there.
Have a good day.
France Soleil
There's a chap on
7904,
through.
London Control, expect
some of
landing
those.
for Lima, runway 28 left.
Expect à Blanc pour Lima, runway 28 left, France Soleil 7904.
Okay, so as you move around, your FPS changes. And that was like where I was getting drag, a lot of glitchiness. And there really is not much work until we start heading towards Shap. There should be an error down here. Well, it's not an error, it's just telling you to do stuff. You can just clear those. It'll ask you to put your check destination or do destination, but we've already got ours all set in, so we ain't got to worry about that. And then it'll just say there's a speed discrepancy, I guess, when you come to Tartan and that. And that's always the case, because you have to drop quite quick. The only word of warning I'll give you for lossless scaling is when you finish a flight and you're going to go back to your main screen, stop lossless scaling before you do it, as it has a tendency to crash the sim itself. So best to always turn it off. Set up a hotkey. I use Shift X, and then I can turn it on, turn it off as and when I want to. Majority of the time I'll just leave it on and then just turn it off when I'm finished my flight and everything is done. Because I've got my son's birthday party this afternoon, I would have normally done the Zagreb run, but I'll probably do it tomorrow. As I want to try this plane on a longer route, or I might even do to Ibiza, which is 2 hours 45-minute flight. Ibiza, lovely, it's one of my favourite airports. Beautiful to fly into, to get the landing in there, it's absolutely perfect. Edinburgh's a lovely one to do as well.
France Soleil 7904, you were assigned flight level 340. I show you at flight level 329er. Climb to flight level 340.
So I think we should be... Yeah, I'm just going to have a look out. I want to see what the contrails are doing. I don't think we'll have any. That is wrong today. We've got contrails today. I don't know why to check it. You can go to GSX. Oh, have I crushed it? Yeah, they're enabled. That's cool. Contrails are working. That means everything else is working. And you get a nice view of your plane from different angles. And you should be able to see your people inside as well, your passengers. Oh, bad plane is very nicely done. It was good to play around just to see what lossless scaling does. As you saw there, as I clicked in something, we had a big freeze. And these contrails are a little bit different to the normal ones, where these swell, so got more of a realistic look to them. But the plane is a really good plane. I do like this plane. So we'll soon be descending actually. Okay, I thought that was a descent mark there. You can open this up to see, as you can see, there's the descent here. 40, 60, and you can look down here and it will tell you basically the top of descent, 46. There you go, it's asking us to enter the data, we don't need to. And you've got activate approach from phase and everything like that. I haven't used that yet. So yeah, we've got 44 miles to go. But they will ask just prior to that, and doing this flight I've learnt my lesson. When they ask me to descend, I descend now. So it'll be just short of what the FMC says, but it will recalibrate itself. But I can't remember, I think it's 26. Because I think you can actually, as long as you don't acknowledge that, it will sit there so you know that you're ready for when we do get the descent. Make life a bit easier. It's different to the Boeing, where at this point I would probably put it down at 3,000 feet and and then hit the descent and it will manage it way down there. This one is a little bit different, where you have to basically go through the steps. But it seems to be managing pretty much okay, even with like streaming this, it's working fine. It worked fine with the recording. Had issues with the recording, so I've decided to do it streaming and just see what happens then.
Shamrock 69 X-ray, contact Dublin Information Approach 118.5.
Contact Dublin Information Approach 118.5, Shamrock 69 X-ray.
So we're getting close to the Scottish border. Like I say, it is a short flight, and that's sort of what I wanted to do. I just wanted to show this once again, how lossless scaling works, and how it works when it's done properly. Not like me. It's like anything, when you first get something, you're not really sure how it works until you play with it. I haven't put Atmos on. I did uninstall Rect AccuSeason because I didn't want both on. Most stuff can be done through Atmos. I didn't want stuff cluttering up that I need this space for.
Speedbird for Oscar
There you
Delta.
go.
London control. Expect Impel 1 Echo, runway 24.
These things you have to acknowledge, and when I was doing it the other way, I was struggling to acknowledge it. So
Expect Impel 1 Echo, runway 24. Speedbird for Oscar
we were
Delta.
staying with 2-4, which I'm pleased about. All goes well, we should have a good landing. we're what? 22 miles from our top descent. That'll be asking us very shortly. And I'll just say, yeah. I could call for it myself. I'll wait and see what happens. Normally we're flying around about 36,000 feet here and always worry. Here we go, I think we're going to get asked.
Scandinavian 958 Heavy, contact London Control 118.475.
Center on 118.475, Scandinavian 958 Heavy, take care.
IC for 3 Whiskey Mike, London Control, expect Apple 1 Golf, runway 23.
I think it's just going to allow us to
Runway 23, easy for 3 Whiskey Mike.
get to our descent point.
IC81 Zulu Alpha, flight present heading, climb to flight level 390. Expect further clearance in about 901 miles.
12 miles.
Flight present heading, climb to flight level 390, easy 81 Zulu Alpha.
AC81 Zulu Alpha, cleared direct Aglil. Resume on navigation.
Maybe we have to call for descent.
Clear direct Aglil. Resume on navigation, easy 81 Zulu Alpha.
IC9515, London Control.
Okay, we'll call for it.
Radar vectors, ALS runway 26. Expect radar vectors, ILS runway 26, EC9515.
If I can get in there first.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta, approaching our top of descent, ready for lower.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta, Intel 1 Echo, runway 24, descend to flight level 260.
Intel 1 Echo, runway 24, descend to flight level 260, Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
Ryanair 39 Delta Alpha, London Control, expect radar vectors.
And we are now
ILS
dropping.
runway 32.
Expect radar vectors, ILS runway 32, Ryanair 39 Delta Alpha. London Control, American 104 Heavy, flight level 310.
American 104 Heavy, London Control, radar contact.
Hopefully we won't get too
London
much
Control, Tomjet 2 Alpha Victor.
hassle from other
Descending via
planes.
exit 1 kilo, flight level 264.
It'll mess up our flight approach.
Tomjet 2 Alpha Victor, London Control, identified.
I should
3 Whiskey Mike, you will assign
let us
flight
down
level
here.
380.
Speed arrow top.
You at flight level 367. Climb to flight level 380.
Roger, climb to flight level 380, easy for 3 Whiskey Mike.
We should go into a bit of a steeper descent. And this blue line just here tells us that that's where they expect to be at 26,000.
Speedbird 1480, London Control. Expect Apple 1 Golf, runway 23. Expect Apple 1 Golf, runway 23, Speedbird 1480. London Control, Shamrock 681, flight level 360. Shamrock 681, London Control, radar contact. From Soleil 7904, Ablin Folder Lema, runway 28 left. Report ready for descent.
Ablin for Lema, runway 28 left, ready for descent, France Soleil 7904.
From Soleil 7904, descend to flight level 160.
Descend to flight level 160, France Soleil 7904.
London Control, Ryanair 99 Upper Victor, flight level 301. Ryanair 99 Papa Victor, London Control, good day, radar contact. Continue climb to flight level 380.
And we should be hitting Scottish Control very shortly.
Continue climb to flight level 380, Ryanair 99 Papa Victor.
We must be getting close to 26, we are, yeah. Can't remember what the next one is.
Blue World 598 Heavy, contact London Control 118.4.
Probably 20,000, I think.
Contact London Control 118.475, Blue World 598 Heavy, have a good day.
Swiss 551 Bravo, descend to flight level 100.
Descent to flight level 100, Swiss 551 Bravo.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta, descend to flight level 200.
Descend to flight level 200, Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
And we're going to drop again.
Ryanair 39 Delta Alpha, radar vectors, ELS runway 32. Report ready for descent.
Radar vectors, ILS runway 32, ready for descent, Ryanair 39 Delta Alpha.
Ryanair 39 Delta Alpha, leaves Bradford landing runway 32.
Leeds Bradford, landing runway 32, Ryanair 39 Delta Alpha.
IZ9515, contact Ronald's Way approach 135.905. Contact Ronald's Way approach 135.905.
There we go, going to a steeper climb, steeper descent now. So we now have to be really careful on our speeds.
Ryanair
Use
39
speed brake.
Delta Alpha, descend to flight level 200.
And then when we get to
Descent to
Tartan, we'll
flight
be
level
given
200,
instructions.
Ryanair 39 Delta Alpha.
79 Uniform Charlie. Contact Dublin Information Approach 118.5.
Contact Dublin Information Approach 118.5. Ryanair 79 Uniform Charlie.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Contact Scottish Control 119.875.
Center on 119.875. Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Have a good day.
Okay, now on Scottish Control.
Good day, Scottish Control. Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Descending via Info 1 Echo. Flight level 225.
It's got a little bit bumpy.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Scottish Control. Radar contact. Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Descend to 7,000 feet. QN 80999.
Descend to 7,000 feet. QNH0999. Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
Okay, so it should now carry on descending.
Logan 8 Bravo India. Turn right. Heading 195. Climb to flight level 363. Turn right. Heading 195. Climb to flight level 363. Logan 8 Bravo India.
Frames are looking good. They will drop when we get close to Edinburgh, but it'll be enough that we can land properly. Okay, what we need to do is close out this scaling.
Ryanair 814. Contact Edinburgh approach 121.205.
Contact Edinburgh approach 121.205. Ryanair 814.
We can check our distance. $61 miles.
Alpine 70 Lima uniform. Scottish Control. Expect Perth 1 Golf. Runway 24. Expect Perth 1 Golf. Runway 24. Alpine 70 Lima uniform.
We're bang on with our speeds at the moment, which has been pretty good. We have got to lose 10,000 feet. Went back and checked to make sure it was all managed. Very deep into Bonnie, Scotland now.
Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta. Lead Tartan heading 020. Expect radar vectors for ILS runway 24.
Okay.
Leave Tartan heading 020. Expect radar vectors for ILS runway 24. Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta.
The Tartan is what, 6.6 miles? Zooming in now, just make sure it's okay. You can go slightly earlier if you want to, but I'll try and get it as close as.
Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta. Contact Edinburgh approach 121.205.
Contact Edinburgh approach 121.205. Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta. Edinburgh approach. Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta. Good day. Flight level 133, we have echo.
Blue Max 3731. Descend to 5,000 feet.
Okay, so now let's
Descend to 5,000 feet. Blue Max 3731.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta Edinburgh approach. QNH 0999er expect radar vectors for ILS runway 24.
I'm moving.
QNH09
That's a new one on me.
expect radar vectors for ILS runway 24.
That's better.
Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta.
Thank you. I wondered when you were going to move over.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Turn right, heading 025. Descend to 5,000 feet. Vectors for the approach. Expect further clearance in about 19 miles.
Now we're on the 02.
Turn right, heading 025. Descend to 5,000 feet. Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta.
Down to 5,000 feet, and that is turn right to 25.
3 Echo Delta. Contact Edinburgh Tower 118.705. Have a good day.
It's because we turned later than we should have done.
Over to Tower 118.705. Berlin 3 Echo Delta. Have a good day.
It hit that, does that? Yeah. Close that out a bit. Need to hit that. Managed to catch the speed brake, so it slowed us down a bit. Well, let's drop down a bit. Contrail should be gone by now. Sometimes you get a bit of vapor and it's depending on the
Turn
boat.
left, heading 355.
But we've got a Ryanair in front of us, so.
Turn left, heading 355, Ryanair H14.
Ryanair 814, descend to 4,000 feet.
Descend to 4,000 feet, Ryanair H14.
Oh, why has that done that?
Ryanair 814, turn
Shouldn't
left,
have done that.
heading
So we
270, intercept the 2 for the Carlizer.
okay. What's she going on here?
Turn left, heading 270, intercept the 2 for the Carlizer. Ryanair 814.
Sure why it's done that. We're no longer on autopilot.
Ryanair 814, 3 miles from CI24, turn
As
left,
before.
heading 270, maintain 3,000 feet until established on the final approach course. Cleared ILS runway 24.
Sure why.
Turn left, heading
Could have a
270,
fault.
3,000 feet until established. Cleared ILS runway 24, Ryanair 814.
Bit more.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta, turn left, heading 330, descend to 4,000 feet.
Turn left, heading 330, descend to 4,000 feet. Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
Why don't you? Okay. Trying to find the localizer now. Hopefully that will pick it up.
Blue Max 3731, turn left, heading 350.
Turn left, heading 350, Blue Max
Down, down, down. Don't go up.
3731.
Don't go up.
Ryanair 814, contact Edinburgh Tower 118.705.
Contact Tower 118.705, Ryanair 814.
Too much.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta, 5 miles from CI24, turn left, heading 270, maintain 3,000 feet until established on the final approach course. Cleared ILS runway 24.
Come on down. Let me just sort this out.
Turn left, heading 270, 3,000 feet until established. Cleared ILS runway 24. Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
Blue Max 3731, descend to 4,000 feet.
Descend
Oh,
to
like that.
4,000 feet, Blue Max 3731.
Hoping I'm.
Blue Max 3731, 3 miles from CI24, turn left, heading 270, maintain 3,000 feet until established on the final approach course. Cleared ILS runway 24.
Turn left, heading 270, 3,000 feet until established. Cleared ILS runway 24, Blue Max 3731.
Oh no, we're coming down to way too early.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta, contact Edinburgh Tower 118.705.
Oh,
Over
never
to Tower
been
118.705. Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Have a good day.
Okay, it's going to spin around, spin us around.
Edinburgh Tower. Speedbird for Oscar Delta. ILS runway 24.
Sure why they lost that.
Oscar Delta, Edinburgh Tower, continue.
Roger.
Let's get that.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
Running way too fast.
Altimeter setting.
2000.
Edinburgh Tower, Blue Max 3731. ILS
Altimeter
runway
setting.
24.
Blue Max 3731, Edinburgh Tower, continue.
Okay, well we managed to well, I thought I'd do that. Because I wasn't sure why the autopilot cut off. We're back on it. Yeah.
Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta, wind 260 at 17, 27, runway 2 for clear to land.
Runway 24 clear to land. Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta.
Approaching 248,300
Oh, we're coming in quite quick here.
feet. Available.
Coming in a lot quicker than I normally would want to come in.
500.
So that was down to losing the autopilot there for a little while.
400.
Not sure what happened there. Well, we're getting down safe-ish.
Coming through
300.
seats for landing.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, set, retard.
Go on then, brakes early because we're in a lot faster than I normally like to come in.
Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta.
Oh, we did all right on that
exit
from here.
Bravo.
A bit of a recovery there.
Exit left at Bravo. Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta.
Oh, I didn't want to do that. There we go, so we'll get those flaps out.
Very warm welcome to our destination. Please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the seatbelt signs have been switched off. Once it's safe to do so, please do take care when you open the overhead lockers, as items may move during the flight and could fall out and cause injury. You may now make and receive calls, as well as using all data services on your handheld electronic devices. Please check that you have all of your personal belongings with you before you leave the aircraft. If you require any assistance here at our destination, then please speak to our ground staff colleagues who will be happy
We're
to
looking
help.
at ramp 3A.
Those customers who have ordered special assistance to leave the aircraft today, please remain seated until the aisle around you is clear and our crew will be on hand to assist you. Finally, on behalf of all of us here at British Airways and the One World Alliance, we'd like to thank you for choosing to fly with us today, and we look forward to seeing you on board again very soon. Once again, thank you, and a very good morning to you all.
That looks like a player.
Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta. Contact ground 121.755.
Ground 121.755. Speedbird 4 Oscar Delta. Bye bye.
Ryanair 11 Charlie Delta, Edinburgh ground. Expect runway 24, Tala 6 Charlie departure. Squawk 17 for 3. Tala 6 Charlie departure. Squawk 17 for 3. Ryanair 11 Charlie Delta. Ryanair 11 Charlie Delta, read back correct. Call me back when ready for pushback or engine start.
Just creep forward a bit.
Wilco, Ryanair 11 Charlie Delta. Blue Max 3731.
Oh, come on, let me get a word in edgeways, will you?
Alpha, Echo, Foxtrot.
Ramp 7 via Bravo, Alpha, Echo, Foxtrot, Blue Max 3731.
Yeah, can I say something now?
Ryanair 11 Charlie.
Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Request taxi to
Speedbird for Oscar Delta. Ramp 3 Alpha taxi via Bravo.
Ramp 3 Alpha via Bravo. Alpha, Echo. Speedbird for Oscar Delta.
Okay, let's
Ryanair
go south
11
and do
Charlie
niggas and
Delta.
twist there.
Edinburgh. Pushback and engine start approved. Face southeast. Ryanair 11 Charlie Delta.
Let's see how well this goes. Ramp 3A. Never done ramp 3A before. It's the first one to come off. Slow us down a little bit.
To Mike Quebec. Ready for airways to Malpensa
Give it a
Airport.
chance.
Alpine 32 Mike Quebec. Edinburgh ground. Expect runway 24. Tala 6 Charlie departure. Squawk 0162.
Definitely a lot more difficult with the rudders.
Tala 6 Charlie departure. Squawk 0162. Alpine 32 Mike Quebec.
Plane seems to want to get away from you as
32
well.
Mike Quebec. Read back correct. Call me back when ready for pushback or engine start.
We're coming off of this one.
Roger that. Alpine 32 Mike Quebec.
3A.
Ryanair 11 Charlie Delta. Request taxi to the active. Ryanair 11 Charlie Delta. Runway 2 for taxi via Lima. Alpha, Delta. Runway 2 for taxi via Lima. Alpha, Delta. Ryanair 11 Charlie Delta. Alpine 32 Mike Quebec. At ramp 11 request pushback.
4A.
Alpine 32 Mike Quebec. Edinburgh
I'm missing
ground.
sign.
Pushback and engine start approved. Face northwest. Pushback approved. Face northwest. Alpine 32 Mike Quebec.
Right, so there's 3A's around here somewhere. Have a look. Okay, just stop. I think it's down there then. Ah, down here. I wasn't looking.
Ryanair 11 Charlie Delta. Contact Edinburgh Tower 118.705. Have a good day. Over to Tower 118.705.
Totally lost my
Ryanair
sense of
11 Charlie
direction
Delta.
there.
Have a good day.
We'll spin it around. Get her to come in here. Oh, come on with those rudders. I need to be sorted out before we get there, please. No. Where you going? Where you going?
Alpine
Okay.
32 Mike Quebec. Taxi for departure.
This would be embarrassing. It was real life.
Alpine 32 Mike Quebec. Runway 2 for taxi via Foxtrot. Alpha, Delta.
Oh, completely
Runway
wrong
2
angle.
for taxi via Foxtrot. Alpha, Delta. Alpine 32 Mike Quebec.
It's coming way too quick. I noticed that when it pulls away when you're taking off the first time, it sort of takes its time to get up to speed, but right, cool. That looks good to me. Then we'll just put the park and brake on. Back down here. Get the chocks on so we can't go anywhere. External power. Get the engines turned off. Oh, I left that on. That probably didn't help. Now we're on external power.
Cabin crew, doors to manual and cross check, please.
Alpine 32 Mike Quebec. Contact Edinburgh Tower 118.705. Over to Tower 118.705 at Alpine 32 Mike Quebec.
The boarding requested.
Once you hit that again, once again, it also you get this normal freeze, comes from GSX. Nothing you can do about it. It was a scruffy landing, that's for sure. Come on, sort yourself out. Raz fail, yeah, because it would fail because you've lost connection. We'll get those lights turned off, we'll get moaned at. Alright, it's connecting in at the back. Oh, weird. What's going on here? So we're going to deboard, you can open this up and they should all come back eventually.
Good afternoon. Passengers deboarding started.
Now disembark the aircraft. Please take care as you leave us and ensure that you take all of your personal belongings with you. Once you've left the aircraft, please follow the directions of our ground staff colleagues who will be able to direct you. Thank you.
Lovely, so we should see them deboard. Yeah, there we go. They should now be going to the back, coming off at the back now. Did that open? Well, it opened both of them, but leave both open. And they're going through the top. Okay. Strange thing is I don't see anybody else deboarding. They're taking their time. And that is it. That is with lossless scaling, as you can see up there. It's still in the high 60s, which is fine. It's just giving us a little bit more. Close the door, it's a bit different, but if you want to see your passenger go off, you open your door and you want to have a look, so you make sure they're leaving the plane. And Bob's your uncle. So I think we'll leave that there. It's been a joy. The landing weren't quite what I was expecting. For some reason, autopilot decided to ditch and eventually came back, but not sure if I did something wrong or whether something went wrong. So that's that. So thank you for watching. Sorry I can't put my camera on because I've got a few issues at the moment with my camera. The life of a PC, you always have issues. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was informative for the lossless scaling. You can use it on an array of games. Word of warning, don't try use it on Train Sim World 5 if you've got Train Sim World 5. It doesn't work and it will crash your game. Okay, thank you very much and until next time, goodbye for now.